Hi everybody and welcome back to Nellie and Ruth Designs. I thought today I would take some time out of my very busy Monday. Ha ha ha. I've been cleaning out a craft closet in my guest room. And I already have one box filled. I have a medium-sized box. It's going out to a crafter. It's going to be a surprise when they receive it on their doorstep. But I said a while back, I'm going through my closets. I'm going through just everything, and I'm filling these postal boxes. So I thought I'd take a break because I have a whole bunch of magazines. I've already had my helper, my garden helper, come and take 2 large bags of hard-covered books that I used to use to cut up down to our Salvation Army. I got them out of here. There was a whole bunch that went down in my dumpster that you just couldn't cut. I bought them in the past thinking they'd make good fussy cutting images. They don't. There's too much going on. They went in the dumpster. And then I have all of these Better Homes and Gardens from, I think these are from what, the 1940s? 1910. Dates are off. 1940. Or that must be 1940. Looks like a 10. 1940. 1942. This one is 1940. I thought we could harvest some pages out of these magazines, and then these are the next to go because these are starting to smell quite musty. So I thought I would show you how I harvest my images. I usually keep the magazines around, but I am in a heave-ho mood and I need to get rid of all of this stuff. It's too much. So I thought we could go through a couple magazines. This is an updated, this is a Rob report. I get my watches and a lot of things out of these magazines when I can, but I thought I'd go through this really quick. Maybe not. I'm not seeing a lot of things in here. Maybe these rings or something like that. I have that. And then this one here, the front cover's gone. I'm not sure what this one is, but I don't know if I can get anything out of here. But by all means, if you see anything when I go through some of these and you're interested, send me a message through my email, nellieandruthdesigns@gmail.com. And the only thing I would ask is if you pay for the shipping. I'm more than happy to send this stuff your way, but shipping can get a bit pricey. And magazines are heavy. I just took a whole stack of these Rob reports down. These come on a week, maybe monthly, bi-weekly basis to my husband. And man, I think I threw 10 of these in the dumpster and they are heavy. So paper is heavy to ship. But I do have envelopes that these magazines will fit in if you want them. I can package some up and give you a price for shipping, and then you could send it to me through my PayPal. But in the midst of all of these, I found this. So if you're interested in surreal collage art and how I harvest magazine pages, I'd love to have you sit with me today at my craft table. If not, you can go find something more fun to do. And I want to welcome everyone back that is a faithful viewer and subscriber. So when I was going through the books that I just showed you, I found these 3 images. There's a suitcase, a head, and these legs. And I had them all paper clipped to this. And I thought, what is this? This magazine here is from King Arthur Baking Company. And I get one of these every year in the mail before the holidays. And it's mostly their Christmas items, their cookies, their decor, different things you can buy as gifts. I did do a baking surreal collage. I'll link that in this. That was quite fun. I don't know if I did it. I think I did it 2 years ago. But that one was a lot of fun. And I took all the images out of here. So as I was going through this, I set these aside and I says, well, let me just take a look to see if there's anything else that maybe, because I think my idea was to take this suitcase and have the suitcase be her body, and then I'd have to find a neck for her, or she would just be coming. It would be something like this. All right, that would be a somewhat of a surreal collage. I haven't done a surreal collage like this in a long time. So I got thinking, I said, I'm going to go through here and take a look. And that way too, you can just, I can point some little things out that maybe you could use in a surreal collage. You could always use, you know, jars together like this. Then you could have people standing on them. This would be kind of fun to put those Tim Holtz figures on. His paper dolls. I think he calls them paper dolls. You could cut this out here. This might come in handy if you're doing Marguerite Miller collage art. All of the chocolate chips, if there's something there, add something sweet to your page. The bottles you could take and cut out. These could actually be like buildings in a cityscape. So you could have like maybe a building here and have a couple different buildings next to it. I don't know. So when I turned the page, I saw this pure vanilla. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. I could do something with that. So I grabbed the legs. And the legs would definitely, this could be the body. And then the neck here, I wouldn't want it to go like that because she's definitely looking down. And that pretty much lines up really well there like that. So I could have something like that. All right. So this page I'm going to take out. And I will cut. I'm going to save this one as well. But I will cut this out. I know a lot of girls, when they harvest their pages, they cut everything out and then they categorize them, and then they can just pull their folders and try to find things they're looking for. All right, so, and I'm pretty particular as to what I cut out of the magazines. I know the kind of art that I do. You know, this bread machine would be cool because you could have this like a pool, and you could cut in here some blue for water. And then I know over in that cut and paste book I have, but I think they're diving this way. If you found somebody diving, you could have them diving off the top of here down into the pool of water. You could put water in here as well. So you could use that one like that. This you could cut and use as a hat, like a little beanie, but then you could use this one as well. And this is where it's, if you're beginner collage artist, this is a really simple way. It's way too big, so I think I'll use this one. This is a... Oh, sorry about that. I got a frog in my throat. But this is a really simple way for a beginner just to play and figure things out. So we'll cut that out. That could be a little beanie for her. And again, you don't, if you're a beginner collage artist, you do not have to do anything big. It's just using your imagination. And I also suggest, I told one gal that left me a comment to go, she said she just doesn't know where to start. And I said, go on Pinterest and type in surreal collage art. And there will be tons and tons and tons of ideas. And that will get your mind going as well. But you have to be careful. A lot of it now is AI. And you can't really take those ideas because the way everything's blended. And you'd never be able to find the magazine images. You know, I just find if you take magazine images, I'm going to cut this out, and you collage, I call it the old-fashioned way. I think that's being a real collage artist. Because you can go on Photoshop. My son showed me this, and he says, Ma, you should be doing this. And I'm like, nope, I don't need anything else to do. I said, you've talked me into, you know, a few too many things, and then I've backed off and I've given them up. One being my Patreon. That was too much. But you can go on Photoshop, and you can even go on AI now, and you can just type in, you know, a giraffe in the middle of the ocean wearing swimming goggles, and he has a fish hanging out of his mouth. And it will automatically generate that image for you. And to me, that's not a challenge. I like being challenged and having to look for images and use them. So see, that could be like a little hat that she has on. And then we could decorate the hat as well. I'm going to cut this bottle out. And we won't do a collage today. We'll get one ready because I really do want to go through the magazines with you. But I'm basically showing you when you are going through your magazines and you find something, just go ahead and cut it out. I'll show you the other piece that I found in that magazine that I kind of want to go with to make this look even more funky. Okay, I'm going to hang on to that one. So, and again, until I am ready to really work on my piece, I'm not cutting that out because I'll use my X-Acto knife. I'm not going to cut in between the legs because I don't want the legs to tear. And I won't cut her face out. I'll do that with the X-Acto knife. But, so far we've got her here. All right. We have her legs, and I know I don't have my camera where you can see it all. All right, I'll put it like this. And then we can always add that's her body. Can always add the little hat like that, her little beanie. And then I found this also was in the magazine, showing a baker taking out their cake. And I thought, well, it'd be fun to have arms on here. I thought that would be fun. Now, I know the arms don't line up, but there is a term for that as well when you're working with surreal art. I think there's a girl on here that does things like this with funky heads, and it's just another type of art. And I think this is fun. She's walking along and she's showing people that she baked cake. And so when you find things that you like, cut them out, set them aside, and then you can go and you can do your art. You can make your surreal collage. So I'm going to lift this up a little bit, and then we'll go through these magazines. All right, so this one here is December 1941. And I don't know, again, I don't know what I'm going to find. And again, it just depends on your style of collaging. You know, this here might be kind of good. Again, if you have somebody that, you know, the first thing that comes to my mind is somebody jumping down or climbing up on that there. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to take that one there. And some of these are just, they're too big. I mean, if you, this is the name Dig, or the game Dig on here. If it wasn't all here, you could, you have all the hands here. You could have them reaching for fruit or, I don't know, something there, something odd. But sometimes there's just too much going on in a picture. And if you haven't seen my Campbell's soup, that good one, go back and watch it. That was a fun surreal collage. But you can cut these soup cans out, and you can have them. This could be like a log in a river with somebody standing on it or something like that. The little Campbell's soup girl. I'm going to take her. I'm going to take this Campbell's because this would be cute if she fit on a Rolodex card. So she would be cute to have around. I could fussy cut her out and do something. I'm not worried about if I want that bowl of soup. I think that ad is in all of these. There's a lot of little things here that, you know, are good for like Rolodex cards and things like that, but I'm just not interested. 6 months from now, I'm going to say, gosh dang it. I wish I had that. I wish I had the that picture or this picture. I'm taking that Del Monte can because I could use that with the Campbell's soup can. this might be good to use. I'm thinking a collage soup. There's a beach scene that she does, and these two could be on the beach. And that's the other thing. Know your magazines that you have and go through them. You know, sit and watch TV at night and just familiarize yourself, and just, it's a constant reminder of the magazines that you already have. So when you go through a magazine like this, you'll say, oh gosh, I could use that there, or I could use, you know, whatever. There's clocks. The clocks are a little too small for what I would use and do. These are all the small little ads. Yeah, there's nothing back here. So out of that whole magazine, for me, I only got a couple things. And these older, better homes and gardens, let me go through this one. Oh, I think this, yeah, this is a Collier's. They've got some great, Collier's has really good ads. They have really good liquor ads. And I got these because my dad was in the liquor business. And I thought I would use some of those in his scrapbook. However, these are a little more musty than I thought. Now this TV, I'm going to cut this TV out and take this, because this could be popping out like from the side of a mountain. And then you could put a totally different picture. You could put an animal or something inside the TV screen, or something really bizarre. So I'm going to cut that TV out. I'll hang on to that. There's some articles. See, and this is where my mind goes. Like if you were doing a really large collage, or if I was doing a large collage, this would be really cool, because you could cut these two people out. They're obviously dancing. And I could find clocks. I could find a clock face. It'd have to be positioned just so. Around, put it here for his head, and then I could put one for hers. I'd leave the hair and put it here. And you could title it Dancing Around the Clock. So that's how my mind works. That's how sometimes I see these things and things pop in, but they're too big, or I'll take him, because again, I'm thinking if I did a cityscape with some of those buildings, he could be popping out or in between the buildings in a city with his cowboy hat on and his Hydrox cookies. I think my favorite thing with all these magazines are the comics. I just love the humor back then. And all right, so here, nothing here, nothing here. I like these Philip Morris because I could do something with, I know a lot of people, they criticize others when they use alcohol or cigarette images, but you know what? I don't care. You don't like it, you don't like it. It's from our lifetime. People still smoke. I know it's not, you know, it's detrimental to your health. My uncle ended up, both my uncles ended up with emphysema. They were huge smokers, but that's just a fact of life. And I like working with vintage ads. So that's how I roll. I don't criticize anybody. We still have a lot of people that smoke in our quarry. They chew tobacco. And that's when I bring them bags of lollipops. I'm like, get that out of your mouth. It's like, get that crap out of your mouth and stick a lollipop in there. But it is what it is. I'm one, I don't erase history. I do not erase history. Let's see. So let's look at this other Collage, and then we'll go back to the Better Homes and Gardens. There's not much in the Better Homes and Gardens. And again, I'm just setting these magazines aside, the ones that I go through, and if anybody I'm taking this Aquanet. If anybody wants any of these, just again, send me an email. And that's it for that one. All right, let's do a Better Homes. All right, we'll go back to here. See, these car ads are great, but for me, they're just a little too big. But some of you could probably find you're probably already seeing things in here like that you could use, like I said, for the Marguerite Miller collages. Things that are small and stand out, like that Coca-Cola. And some of you, I have received your emails about the old oh gosh, I'm having a senior moment. What's the magazine a lot of people make journals out of? Comes from across the pond. Isn't that awful? I will be sending you my scraps. Daphne's Diary. Thank you. Somebody was shouting at me. All right, so there's nothing in here that I can use or I would want. Let's see here. This one here. Let's see if there's anything in there. All right. And then I think I will, oh, this is an old McCall's. This one is from 1970. And then I will probably call it a day because, like I said, these don't offer too much. I'm going to take these lipsticks. And these books are also good if you, what are those journals? The where you just put pictures in there. Boy, I'm really bad today. Some people do an ABC journal, like, you know, A is for apple, and if you did an L, you could put the lipstick in there. I'm not hitting the mark today, am I, ladies? Now, these little car ones, they'd be good for a Marguerite Miller. Look at that gorgeous giraffe. Pretty, pretty coats. Pretty, pretty coats. I wish they'd go back to the 1970 styles. Now all you see are sweatpants or leggings. And I think the quality of the clothes have really deteriorated. Like, if I go into a Macy's, everything is that cheap polyester. Oh, I don't like the fabrics. Just cheap, cheap, cheap material. I don't even think your wool is a real wool anymore. I think it's a knockoff. Okie dokie. Let's see. See, these old Better Homes and Gardens, they really don't offer much, because that's just what they were. They were homes and gardening magazines. So you're not going to find a lot of things to cut out. Although I think I will take this GE. That caught my eye before. You know, I have a clock in my kitchen. I took it from my mom's house after she passed away. She bought it, as she said, when she set up housekeeping. She bought it in the early, probably she was married in 47, so she probably bought it in 43 to 1945, and it's an electric clock. You know, that's in my kitchen, and that still keeps precise time. It's a plug-in, it's electric. I will never part with that. That will be handed down to one of my kids as well. So that tells you how old it is. And it still runs like a charm. But again, they don't make anything like that anymore. Everything is battery operated. Now, again, you could use these cans of soup for different things. Now, this butter would be fun, because you could take this butter, and I have that pinup girl book, and I could have one of the pinup girls coming out of the butter. Ha! That would be fun. Maybe I'll take that, do something with that. And this is, you know, when you do simple collaging like this, surreal collaging, you start out slow. You just start out slow and add one or two items. Doesn't have to be big and fancy, and you're well on your way. You know, something like this, you've got her in the rocking chair. You could cut, you don't need this. You could cut her out. And then you've got your string here. I would leave this side. I wouldn't cut around this. But you could have, again, you could have like little animals climbing up to her. You could have like a monkey hanging off of this string. This could be spilling down into the water. Maybe I'll take her. All right, so I took that one, and I think that's it. You get the gist of, you know, what you should and shouldn't look for. The more modern magazines, you know, there's like, if you were to take something like this, you could have fun with this one. You could, you know, you could fussy cut this out here, and then you could put an ocean scene behind here, maybe with some fish swimming by. Then you could put, you know, maybe some animals in here, you know, something like that. If you see, you know, this would make a good surreal page, because you could all of a sudden pop a city up or something in the center here. Even if you didn't do that, this is where you could, you know, configure, put some of those soup cans in here, or, you know, you could put like an industrial city in the backdrop, and that's where you could use like the Philip Morris, because these could be like the smokestacks coming out. These could be part of the building. So, you know, you can always take a scene like that, you know, and here's like a perfect thing. Like if you took, where did that go? Or was that on the back side? So, you know, you could have something like this. You could have somebody coming by here. Maybe we could do that someday. She could be swimming behind here. And you could show some of that coral reef, you know, and she could just be swimming by because you've got your fish that you'd see. You could always redo it, but maybe we could make a collage, a simple collage showing her swimming by here. That would be kind of cool. So I'm going to take those two. You could take this diamond ring. These are just ideas for you when you look at things, because some people say, I don't have the mindset. But you could take this diamond ring, cut it out. You could cut the inside out, leave your prongs, okay? Leave your prongs there. You could have this be like a TV screen, and you could put something behind here. And then if you had children, you could have children sitting on the bottom watching TV. So I'll take that. Thank you. Maybe we can do something like that. if you saw, like this watch here, if you did a, where I had just done my, let me just get it. I'll show you how you could use that. So this is the Campbell soup collage that I did the other day. And I put the hand here with the world. Instead of putting that there, you could cut this Van Cleef and Arpels watch out, and you could use that. You could have tucked this in here. And then that way it could have been totally different because you have your constellations up here, and it could have been like a giant, like a moon clock. So that there, I'll take that. And once you, like I said, once you get going and you start looking through some of these magazines, I used to have a pair of shoes just like that. Isn't that funny? Black, and I had a pair of beige ones. Once you start looking and thinking about this stuff, sometimes this stuff will come quickly to you. And sometimes, you know, you'll struggle. And when you go through a magazine, if you go through it the first time, just kind of sit on it. Don't say, oh, there's nothing in here. And sorry about the glare. There's nothing in here that I can use. Like this here, this would make a good bridge for something. Somebody to be sitting on top of that. Just kind of set the magazine aside. And, oh, those are nice shoes. I like those. Set them aside. And then go back through it another time. This one here, you could cut and use the hats. There's Roger, good old Raj. If you don't have a cut and paste book, you can cut images like this out, buildings, to put in your collage, which I will set that one aside. I've always wanted to do something with these sneakers, these shoes, and I've never figured it out. That's a standard ad, so I don't worry about taking them out. And then you have your cars, and can't always find something in these. And I guess that's it. There's not much else in here. So this one I am done with, and I will set aside. I'll actually get rid of this one. So that is it. I just wanted to show you some of the vintage magazines and how you can go through and harvest and get your images for your collage art. So I hope this little video was helpful to you today. And I'm going to set these aside, and we will be back down the road, and we will make some more fun surreal art. So I'd love to have you leave a comment. Tell me what you think. I'd love to know what magazines you folks use. there are vintage magazines out there. You can buy them on Etsy, not Etsy, on eBay. You can get them at your like Salvation Army or other Goodwill houses. Just make sure, excuse me, just make sure that they don't smell of the mold. You don't want to work with anything like that. Just doesn't matter how good they look or how how much they have inside. Don't get them, because it's hazardous to your health to be breathing in all of the mold and that old musty smell. But I would love to know if you use, your children's books, if you're more of a book collage artist, that's where you find your images, or if you get them out of magazines. So again, I want to thank everybody for joining me today around my craft table, and happy crafting, and I will see you in my next video. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.